Hello, welcome back to Jack's FSX videos. For this 37th episode of the ongoing series today, I'm going to be showing you how to start up an aircraft from scratch with everything off, including the engines, battery, everything is completely off. This was a video request by David John Williams. Yeah, that was requested last week, so this is now the episode. So, basically, the first thing you've got to do is turn on the battery. Obviously, when you first get the aircraft, it's not going to look like this. Most of the system's going to be on, but this is just it from scratch. So turn on the battery switch, which is obviously there, that I've just flicked on there. And some lights and stuff will turn on the overhead panel, so you can definitely see that it's on. Then the rest of the switches up here pretty much don't work on FSX. Most of them don't work. But what you do need to turn on is the fasten seatbelt sign and no smoking sign. Obviously they're quite important, especially if you're doing a real sort of flight that you want it to be as realistic as possible. So just turn on the fasten seatbelt sign and no smoking sign right there at the bottom there. And yeah, so like I said, the rest of these switches are just they don't work. Then if you go towards the front of the panel, you need to turn on those three switches there, the generators and the fuel pumps on the left there, left and right, and make sure it's on cross feed as well. And then obviously you've got the lighting right at the start, so you can press L to turn them all on, and then just turn off your landing lights and your strobe lights. So landing lights are on the far left and strobe lights are just there, the white switch on the right. Obviously it varies by aircraft. And then turn on the APU switch, and then that's pretty much it for the overhead panel. The rest of the switches don't work on Flight Simulator on the default aircraft. So that is pretty much it. And you can also turn on anti-ice and stuff, or wing ice if that doesn't work. Then that's the FMC, doesn't work on a Flight Simulator aircraft on default. And then you can set your radio switches if you want as well, if you're using ATC, and your transponder will be set automatically. Then you've got the throttle quadrant. You don't actually need to do anything because you don't actually turn on the engines yet or set the flaps until you're out of your parking space. So you just leave that for now. Then there's the Autopilot. Usually you contact ATC and then they tell you what your altitude is going to be and your heading. So I'm just setting mine for 10,000 feet and 2,500 vertical speed, hold switch, and then you set your speed as well. Yeah, so that's pretty much it there for the settings. And then obviously you've got to flick your navigation to GPS if you're using that, arm your auto throttle, and then switch on your flight director switch on the left there. And then you've got the panels here, the primary flight display and navigation display. Basically you don't need to worry about these for setting up an aircraft at all. They're only for flying. That goes for the same for the engines controlled, except you do need to check your fuel quantity in case you've got it on realism settings and you've got nothing in the tank. So that is pretty much it there for that. So that's all you have to do to set up an aircraft. The only things left now are engines and flaps that you have to set up, and obviously if you're using an auto brake you can do that as well by pressing F10 and then setting that to RTO for takeoff. So now what you need to do is obviously get a pushback in the pushback cart thing, and by pressing Shift P, and then obviously then you'll get a pushback. And once your line gets the center line, that's when you turn on your engines by either pressing Shift E, or inside the cockpit here you can switch them on, and then obviously the engines will then switch on and go around. And then finally you need to turn on your flaps to 10 or 15 degrees. It depends on the aircraft really. It might not even be that, it could be less, it could be more, but 737 either 10 or 15. The standard is 10 for 737. So yeah, set that to either one of your choice, and so I've set mine for 10 on this aircraft. and then obviously the flaps will obviously go down, as you're seeing, and that is pretty much it for setting up an aircraft. And then you can just go ahead, taxi to the runway, and take off, and go for the rest of your flight. So thanks for the video request, David John Williams. There's the video for you, and anyone else who obviously is going to watch it. So that is it. Thanks for watching the 37th episode of the ongoing series. Next week, for the 38th episode, obviously, it's going to be the world's shortest commercial flight, from Westray to Papa Westray. Please take a look at my website, and thanks for watching.